Yo, what's going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new episode of Saturday Night Locals. Here we are in episode 95, and we're continuing on with Rikka Sunavalon. If you did not see the round 1, episode 94, I'll try to leave linked up in the top right for you guys to check out. But here we're going to be playing against Speedroid Kashtira. Yeah, this is, I think, the first time on the channel that Speedroid Cash is being played by somebody that isn't me. I'm pretty sure this is the first time. I could be mistaken, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go on a limb and say it's the first time. We're playing against the one and only Nick Beers. He is a Speed Cash protege. He's been studying the scriptures, aka watching my videos day in and day out, training in the mountains, trying to become the next best Speed Cash sensation this side of the Mississippi. And we got paired up against each other in round 2. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, I do have a bit of an advantage in this particular matchup. I do know the deck quite well. And, you know, I know Speed Cash, and I know that it can go second. But I know the Rikka end board is quite the end board, and he's going to need a good amount of hand traps to try and slow me down here. Otherwise, I don't think there's a way that his deck is getting through it. Not only his deck, but most decks probably not going to be able to get through the Rikka Sunavalon end board once it is fully established. So, going about the sort of new combo here that I do, and as I also mentioned in the last episode, I'm not playing the new Aromage cards. I'm going to keep it a buck. I haven't read a single one of them, but I don't see a need to play them. It's not like the combo in this deck doesn't work if you don't play a card like Aromage Laurel, which is the only card I've added in the main deck that allows you to full combo, and it's just triggering both Jasmine searches here as I use the first effect of Jasmine to summon the Laurel, and then link off the Laurel and the Seed, and do a second Jasmine. That procs Laurel to allow me to gain 500 life points, and that procs both Jasmines to get me a double search of any two plants in my deck. And I'm usually grabbing Lily Borea and what other like extender I need in the moment. And in this case, it's going to be Petal. And on top of that, I've got Ash and Droll in my hand, and I have Triple Tactics Talent. So here I'm going to go ahead and special summon the Lily Borea by equipping the Laurel, and then using the effect of Lily Borea, sending off the equip to go ahead and search for a Therion spell or trap. It's going to be the Disc Coliseum. And then, obviously, you're going to activate Disc Coliseum next. Go ahead and grab Regulus. And, I've kind of, like, the past 2 locals I've played this deck, and, recently when I did some testing with the deck, I've been trying to just freestyle the combos, and it's actually been a lot of fun. Like, I've been so used to how the deck has comboed in the past, you know, with the certain end boards that you make and all these other things, and I've never really played the deck with, like, Therion cards in it before, but it's been kind of just fun, just literally freestyling out combos as of late. And my opponent decides to drop the Nib here before I establish the Regulus, which, I mean, makes sense, but of course I can still at least get Regulus on field, and Regulus is gaining some attack here because it does have a Therion equipped. And I'm going to go ahead and use talents here to look at the hand where we got Terra Top, Tekatomborg, Fen Re, and Triple Tactics Talent. Easy decision there for me just to hit the Terra Top back into the deck. Because I thought to myself, you know, if I leave the Nib on field, it pretty much turns the Fen Re off. But, you know, at the same time, you could easily just crash the Nib into Regulus. But, of course, that does cost him his battle phase. So, we're going to normal summon Petal here now. And, again, I think I mentioned this in the last episode. This is one of the craziest things about Unexpected Die. And I think pretty much is, like, usually the way I end up playing through Nib. If I can't establish an early Regulus for whatever reason, it's just by, like, you know, just normal summoning after I get nibbed, right? Because I didn't need to normal summon to start the combo. So much value off of just one normal monster. So we go ahead and normal the Petal, and we activate the effect of Con to go set a Glamour. And I think I grabbed Princess there off of the pedal. And now I go ahead and use the effect of Glamour just to go ahead and search for 1, I believe. Not opting to tribute anything. And I go for the Moo Down here. And one thing I know too is, like, if I can establish Sheet as well, I know I'm going to be in a really, really good position. So we go ahead and summon Moo Down by getting over the Nibiru, and then Moo Down effect, go ahead and grab the Rikka Sheet from the deck. And I still obviously have that Princess in hand, which I have not used either of Princess's effects. So I can go ahead and special summon that at the board. And the Nib token placement is kind of good. It kind of makes Dance Peon here not the greatest. Although, if I would have left Princess on field, I would have had a rank 4 play available here because I would have just had 2 level 4s on board. Would not have needed the level manipulation effect in the slightest, but it is what it is. And, I mean, at the end of the day, at least I get a Rikka monster on field. I guess that's the best part about that. And I can still link climb into the Melius, then into the Bengal Lancer by using the Moo Down. Obviously, we can't use the Princess's link material this turn because of the Dance Peon. But, you know, it's just a Rikka monster on board at the end of the day, which allows me to use the Princess Engrave. We've got a Bounce, we've got an Omni, we've got Sheet, and we've got 2 hand traps in hand also. And I know, like, you know, 75% of my opponent's hand, as they have 4 cards in hand, I believe. We know Fen Re, we know Tekatomborg, we know Talents, and they just have 1 unknown, which I believe ends up being Kashira Unicorn, which I think we discussed after the fact that it was probably a misplay to not start Unicorn, as, you know, getting access to Birth is huge. Also puts a Wind Body on field to get Tekatomborg in play, but they said they were kind of tunnel visioning on the Fen Re Scary Cash combination, which I mean is definitely one really good combo, but leaves a little to be desired after the fact. And they go into the battle phase, and at the start of the battle phase, you know, I do activate Rikka Sheet here, tributing off the Fen Re, targeting the Scareclaw Cash to go ahead and take. And that pretty much just shuts everything down. And now they don't have a Fen Re play, or any cash play for that matter, afterwards. If they would have started Unicorn, I probably wouldn't have done anything. If they would use Unicorn effects, I mean, none of the negates I have destroy, so yeah, I mean, I think it definitely lets them get a little bit farther if they start Unicorn, but I don't know if they're able to get through the board, you know, all the way. And in game 2, my opponent goes first. They start Shifter. Really unfortunate, but luckily for me, I do have Ash Imperm, which are totally usable under the Shifter. They start Planet. I decide to Ash that. I want to keep them off having Unicorn and Fen Re. That gets them a lot going. So just go ahead and Ash that and keep them on as little cash names as possible. And that's also going to be their best way to be able to play underneath their own Shifters using cash cards. So, and they just grabbed Scareclaw Cash, which was, again, a little interesting for them to grab that. I think I personally would have just grabbed Unicorn for follow-up, just because having access to Unicorn in the Speed Cash deck is just so incredibly good. Such a fantastic card. They go Pot of Prosperity here for 6, reveal Anti-Spell, or just 3 actually. Anti-Spell, Duke, Anti-Spell. And, I mean, I also probably would have Prospeed for 6 there. But I mean, I guess if you're not so, like, as familiar with the deck, maybe you only go for 3. But I mean, they do find Anti-Spell. They find 2 Anti-Spells. I mean, just being rather efficient there, I guess. And they go ahead and set 2, 1 mystery card, obviously being the Anti-Spell. And I draw a Lily Borea for turn. Not the greatest draw, and they also flip up the Anti-Spell in standby phase. And yeah, I mean, I've got 2 Lily, a 1-for-1 an Imperm, and a Princess. So it's not the greatest hand here. Both Lilies are pretty much useless. Obviously, so is the 1-for-1. And I don't really have a true way into engine here at all. I'm just looking at Dance Peon because I was like, wait, this says Excavate. And I need to, I want to make sure, like, could I still excavate underneath the shifter? And yes, you can. Excavate doesn't send cards to the graveyard. It's similar wording to Prosperity. So, I go ahead and set 2 there. And obviously I set the 1-for-1. And I set the Imperm as well. I actually set the Imperm in the other column as the set, the Unknown. Because I really didn't care so much about turning off Anti-Spell next turn. I figured at this point it could potentially be hurting him more than it's hurting me. So I just go ahead and leave it. And, put Imperm in the other column. And he uses the Fen Re effect to go ahead and search. I Imperm that because I know he has Scareclaw Cash in hand. And giving him another name will definitely give him a way to play. So I decided to Imperm that, take a chance on it. And it does pay off. I draw Unexpected Die for turn, which is really good if there wasn't an anti-spell. But now 1-for-1 is live. I pitch Lily Borea, which is just huge momentum. And I'm debating on whether or not I want to bring out Petal or I want to bring out Loci, because I do have a Princess in hand. And I want to be able to like check the Fen Re at all costs, so I figured my combo would be a little fragile if I just went Loci into a Fen Re with like little to no protection. So I bring out the Petal, and I go Petal effect to go ahead and search here. And I'm just like thinking out options like, okay, what happens if he uses Fen Re on resolution of this? I can negate with Princess by shuffling away the Petal. And I'm like, if I'm grabbing Mudon, how do I get this Mudon on the field? Like, okay, well, I have Lily. Lily can disco, and then I can get disco into Regulus, all this stuff. Well, I guess if I'm using Petal, then I guess I technically can't do that. But I still have a plant body on field to be able to tribute for Mudon. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. And after that resolves, we go ahead and use Lily Engrave to equip Lily with a Lily. And now it's up by 700. So now I can just battle phase attack over the Fen Re and not have to worry about it pretty much for the rest of the turn. Which I can't remember if I do that. It looks like I do. This Fen Re is gaining 300 attack, but Lily is at 31, so we can get over it no problem. Main phase 2, we go ahead and use the Mudon effect, tribute over the Petal, and then activate Mudon to go ahead and search for a Rikka spell or trap. They flip up Imperm of their own, and now I wonder if it's time to do a little Dance Beyond play. Honestly, some of my favorite things to do, but I think I decide not to go for the Dance Beyond because I have, a Princess in hand, and kind of would have had to make a greedy play to even go for that. Like, I'd have to summon the Princess, link it off, leave the Mudon field, and then go effect, and because of my zone placement, I'd have to hit 2 plants to even be able to do anything. So I just leave my field as is. They get Scare Cash on field, they normal summon Card Turbo, they are getting into Baron, and not too concerned about that at the moment. And their Baron is gaining 200 attack. They go battle phase, attack over the Lily. Or I think they just pop the Lily rather, and then battle phase attack over the Mudon. And end phase, we go Petal effect. And I was like, is it going to burn their only negate on this? I figured they wouldn't, so we get Petal for free with that monster negate already established still in hand. And I draw Loci for turn, which is kind of huge, because that gets me into so many plays at this point. And all I got to worry about is a Baron. Anti-Spell is still kind of a problem for me because it is turning off, Con, which is huge. It's turning off Glamour. But I mean, we can still grab something like Sheet and play with that and kind of play the slow grind game. So Petal's going to go ahead and search copy Mudon. And we activate Mudon effect, attributing Petal for cost. That resolves. Then Mudon effect on field, they do decide to negate. I do let that resolve because now I can just normal summon Logai and, you know, just kind of not combo super far because, again, we can't use Sowing because of the anti-spell. And I guess maybe knowing that, maybe it would have been a better idea to actually commit the normal summon to Lokai first, but, you know, then I kind of get stuck in the same spot after grabbing the Sowing. And here I was like, you know, can I attack and take some damage? No, because this monster's in attack position. So we just special summon out the princess, and into Dance Peon we go here, as I really am out of options. So we go effect, call 3, and see what we hit here. We hit Twin, Petal, and Glamour. That is exactly what we needed. And then we go effect of Dance Peon, target one of the Lily Boreas in gray, make them both level 8s. Gambling always pays off. Wink, wink. And we just slap that Teardrop down. Teardrop effect, tribute the Baron. Mandatory effect to gain 200 attack. Sitting at 3k. And we just go battle phase, attack for 3k and 1200 for 4200 total. Putting my opponent down to 34 to my 55. And we importantly set the Sowing, so it is live next turn. And we pass. And my opponent admits defeat. As much as I hate being speed cash, you know, we had to do what we had to do. And last but not least, a big shout out goes to our current Divine level channel members who are Pony Start, Cadillac, Screen, Misfit, HH Cyber, and Robin's Assistant. Thank you guys so much as always for showing me kind and very generous support of the channel.